And just, going back to earlier in the week, we talked to the guys about expecting this to be a really tough challenge. Coming in on a Friday night, blackout, and, a really good crowd, tough environment, but against a good football team too. These guys, they've got a good team, and we went and sat tonight. So happy that we could fight through some things. First half wasn't exactly by script, but the guys kept pushing, kept digging. They believed in each other, and sometimes you got to win games like this too. We had to work for it tonight, which is a real credit to Rutgers. They came out on fire basically offensively and pretty much just went up and down the field pretty much at ease against us. And then, obviously Weed sparked us with a kick return. He's just a pretty dynamic guy. Then first 3 and out, he had some opportunities, but came up short on that a little bit. But then we started getting a little traction too. So first half, I kind of flashed back to 1983. I remember going to Penn State. We won 42-38, and man, it was up and down. So luckily at halftime, things settled down a little bit. We started getting some traction defensively. Second half, much better. Getting off the field on third down, and that was certainly good. And then we were answering offensively, so that's the biggest part. But it was a tough, hard-fought game for sure. Both teams, and they've got some really good players over there and well coached. So, happy to get the win, and we'll go back and watch everybody work tomorrow. We're gonna put our feet up, hopefully, whenever we get back there. So hopefully get a chance to go from there. But a lot of positive efforts out there. And again, I think the way the team stuck with, believed in each other. The dialogue was good. Everybody's good at halftime, and the coaches obviously did a good job making some adjustments and just kept moving forward. So saw a lot of growth, a lot of improvement. And there's more out there to be had. That's probably our biggest challenge here. And so we talked to guys about a 5-week block, and we're 4 points from away from being where we want to be. That's yesterday's news. So it's all about taking care of tomorrow and recover, and then hopefully have a great week of practice here. Throw it out for questions.
I noticed actually that they scored 3 touchdowns in the first 3 drives. I noticed you went up to all the defensive positions. I don't know how often you do that, but what message did you feel like needed to be sent there to the defense?
Just to keep playing. It's a 60-minute game, and not that anybody wanted it to be the way it was, but we basically just couldn't get them off at a rhythm. And there weren't many runs in there either, so they clearly had a plan. And part of our plan, any defensive plan, anytime you play defense, you want to get the offense off schedule a little bit, and we had no success with that. But also, it's a 60-minute game, and it's hard sometimes, and sometimes it just feels like it's coming downhill on you. But you just got to stay the course, work through it, and bank on the fact that it's not going to happen for 60 minutes. There's at some point things got to come back to the mean. You hope. But the guys did, and I'm really proud of the way they competed, especially in that second half. And night and day, third down conversions, first half, second half. We did a good job on the penalties. Did a good job in the red zone. I think we had 4 touchdowns over our 5 trips and a field goal. And then, probably the biggest thing is just, as much as they just, sticking with it and taking it a play at a time.
How much are you seeing Mark continue his growth, and how much is his running ability impacting what you guys can do offensively?
Oh, it's helpful. It's helpful, and not all by design, but a guy that can break contain, which he does. And that's we've had that issue the other side where we've let guys break contain. That happened a couple times last week, a couple too many times. So that's a bad thing for a defense. So it puts stress on them. And then a guy that can break contain and keep looking to throw, which Mark does, is really good. We don't necessarily want to. I think we're in the teens here tonight. I don't think that's necessarily the plan. But you do what you got to do to win games too. But it's one more thing for a defense to worry about. And I've said it before. We don't necessarily go out looking for a guy who can run, or we just want good quarterbacks. And Mark happens to have a skill set that's pretty versatile. And to your first point, it's just I think you've seen him get more comfortable with each week. I think he's quite representative of our team. I think he can play better. I still think he can, keep making strides. And I think a lot of areas of our team can get better too if we keep our focus where it needs to be, and that's the biggest trick.
What did you see from Kamari tonight?
Yeah, it looked like him. It was good to have him back. Great to have him back. Not good. And you always hate to lose any. You don't want anybody not to be able to play. But Kamari's a really quality young guy, and he's done a great job since he's been here. personality-wise, he hasn't changed at all, but he's a little bit more mature now and a more mature player. And so it's great to have that. His vision's really, a little bit better than it was 2 years ago, and he's got a little more girth to him now, more mature. And so, he's done a really good job. And I'd like to get all those guys healthy at once. That'd be really good. But hopefully Jazz isn't too bad, and maybe we'll see what happens with Xavier next week. Not optimistic.
Last week it was your record we were talking about, and this week it's Mark's record that we get to talk about. What is it like seeing your quarterback be able to get 52 wins and have the title of winningest NCAA quarterback of all time?
Yeah, I don't know that. That puts him past
53.
Kellen Winslow. And
Yeah.
the staff meeting, the guys are looking at me like, what are you talking about, Kellen Winslow?
Yeah.
Kellen Moore. I got it. So I think it's awesome. I didn't even thank you for bringing that up. I better find him on the plane. But in full disclosure, like tonight was more fun for me too than last week. With all due respect, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but conference games are always, they're pretty important. So yeah, it's just that's who Mark is, in my opinion. Like he's a winner, and that's where it all starts. And some guys are, and some aren't.
What did this game tell you about your team tonight?
It's I was gonna say affirmation, but that's probably not right. I just got done telling somebody. I felt good about this team. I guess it was Pat Hager on the radio. I felt good about these guys since January, and with each turn, each phase, they just keep working hard, and they work hard, and they try to do things the right way. So that part's good, but I also said starting out, like I like our team, I don't know how good we are. I still don't. I don't think any of us do, but that's the fun part about this if you're doing it right. So, tonight was a really good night for us in that you got to win games like this if you're going to have a good team. And we found a way. It wasn't easy, and we found a way. Everybody stayed the course, coaches, players, and, paid off for us at the end. And, and we finally got our first turnover. I forgot to mention that, right? I mean, geez. Wow, rainmaker. So, but, it was a matter of time too, hopefully, but we got a little pressure on the guy and, tip the ball and all that stuff. That's usually a good thing for the defense. And, great that Rex Roth got it too. I mean, it's awesome. So that's really good.
Coach, a third of
Jazz.
the way through the season, how do you feel like this team is meshing, like together, compatibility-wise, as compared to other teams in the past?
Yeah, I can't compare them to others, but they just they're on the right road. And I mean, we were hardly a finished product 4 weeks ago. We hardly are now, and I get that to me is something to be enthused about. And I hope our guys understand that. Like they're going to keep getting better as long as their work habits stay like they have to. This week's a tough challenge because you got a short week. We can't do the volume of work that we'd like to in a normal week. We'll get back to that next week because we got tomorrow off. But and then you play a game at 8 o'clock. The Orange Bowl, I felt like that was 9 o'clock. Does anybody remember? I mean,
It was late.
because it was like January 5th or something like that. I swear to God, it was 9 o'clock. But we have 1 8 o'clock games before Maryland and Rutgers in 22. So, but it's another challenge, and I think what teams that have maturity can handle those things better. So, I think we did a good job there, and that's part of growth too, because college football today, you just you don't know where you're going to tee it up and play. So, that's part of the process, but we're hardly there yet. That's for sure.
Jazz and Seth Anderson both kind of got nicked up. Are they going to be okay?
I think they are. Well, we'll find out. They're both got ankles, I think, and
Okay.
didn't seem too bad, but you'd never know until. I'm not sure a plane ride helps you with a joint, but hopefully here in a couple of days they're okay. I'll probably know that Tuesday.
I feel like it seems like Tim Lester was really in rhythm tonight. You scored 38 points, and it still feels like you left maybe a couple of touchdowns out there.
That first drive was really kind of representative. We had a chance there to, maybe match what they had done, but we didn't. And that's part of the growth process too. So yeah, I thought the plan was really good, and communication with the coaches is really good. They're talking during the course of the game what they're seeing, and then trying to respond to what we are seeing and what we're getting. And they did a good job of mixing some stuff up. But I think the coaches in all three segments are really doing a good job working with each other and communicating, and the players have a role in that too. They, what they tell us on the sideline is really important.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
everyone.
thank you.